Hello, dear friends, and welcome to our channel. Picture this: a world without the internet, a universe devoid of the digital revolution, where the word online is an alien concept. Let's delve into a hypothetical reality where the internet is a figment of imagination. We'll explore how its absence would ripple across various sectors of life: communication, entertainment, business, and education. Imagine no emails, no social media, no online shopping. Intriguing, isn't it? In the pre-internet era, communication was a whole different ballgame. It was a time when the world wasn't as interconnected as it is today. The pace of life was slower, and so was the pace of communication. Imagine a world where the only way to communicate with someone far away is through a telephone, a letter, or a face-to-face meeting. This was the reality before the internet stepped in. Let's delve into this a bit more. In the absence of the internet, telephones would be one of our primary means of communication. Landlines, to be exact. Remember those? You'd have to dial a number and hope that the person on the other end was available to talk. If not, you would leave a message and wait for a callback. No texting, no email notifications, just a good old-fashioned telephone conversation. But what if you wanted to send a detailed message or a document? Well, you'd write a letter, yes, putting pen to paper, sealing it in an envelope, and dispatching it through the postal service. The charm of receiving a handwritten letter is unparalleled, but it comes with its fair share of drawbacks. It's time-consuming, and there's always the risk of it getting lost in transit. And then there were face-to-face meetings. In the absence of video conferencing and online chats, people would have to travel to meet each other. These could be informal catch-ups, business meetings, or even international conferences. They required planning, scheduling, travel, and most importantly, time. So, the communication in a world without the internet would be slower, more deliberate, and arguably more personal. It's a stark contrast to the instantaneous, broad-reaching communication we're used to today. But it also carries a certain nostalgia for a time when life was less rushed and communication was more about quality than speed. So, no instant messaging or video calls. Letters and landlines would rule the day. Without the internet, say goodbye to binge watching and welcome back the golden era of radio and television. Life without the internet would feel like a trip back in time, especially when it comes to entertainment. With no online platforms for streaming music or movies, we would have to rely on more traditional forms of entertainment. Radio and television, once the kings of entertainment, would regain their thrones, providing us with music, news, sports, and our favorite sitcoms. Remember the thrill of waiting for your favorite TV show to air? Without the internet, that sense of anticipation would return. There would be no spoilers on social media, no leaks of upcoming episodes. Every episode would be a surprise, and water cooler conversations would once again revolve around last night's TV shows. Music, too, would take a step back in time. Instead of streaming the latest hits on demand, we'd be tuning into radio stations, eagerly waiting for our favorite song to play. And remember the joy of buying a physical CD, peeling off the plastic wrap, and looking at the cover art and liner notes? That tactile pleasure would make a comeback, as we'd once again buy music in physical form. The same would apply to movies. With no Netflix or Amazon Prime, we'd be heading back to cinemas, experiencing the magic of the big screen, the collective gasp of the audience at a plot twist, the shared laughter at a comedy. And for those cozy nights in, we'd be renting or buying DVDs, making sure to rewind them before returning. Bookstores and libraries would see a resurgence too. With no ebooks or audiobooks available online, we'd be turning physical pages, the smell of paper filling our senses. Without the internet, entertainment would become a more communal experience, shared with others in real time. It would be less about individual choice and more about collective enjoyment. We would go back to a time when entertainment was not just about consuming content, but about experiencing it, about the thrill of the new, the unexpected, the shared. So, no streaming music or movies online, physical CDs, DVDs, and good old television would be our primary sources of entertainment. In a world without the internet, businesses would operate quite differently. The online transactions we've become accustomed to would be non-existent, thrusting us back into a time when traditional methods of marketing, sales, and customer service were king. Let's start with marketing. Without the internet, businesses would no longer have the luxury of targeting ads to specific demographics through platforms like Google or Facebook. Instead, they'd be back to broadcast and print advertising, billboards, and direct mail. Imagine a world where your mailbox is again filled with promotional material rather than your email spam folder. Sales would also look different. E-commerce? A thing of the future. Purchase decisions would be made in brick-and-mortar stores, based on physical browsing and sales pitches. The convenience of clicking a button to make a purchase would be replaced with the tactile experience of handling products before buying. Customer service, too, would return to its roots. Without online chatbots or email support, businesses would rely on face-to-face interactions and telephone calls to resolve issues. The anonymity of online complaints would be replaced with real conversations, potentially leading to stronger customer relationships. Now, consider the international business scene. Today, deals are made in seconds, contracts are sent through email, and teams collaborate across continents via video conferencing. But without the internet, these processes would be significantly slower and more challenging. Letters would replace emails, faxes would come back into vogue, and international phone calls would be the norm. And let's not forget the impact on logistics and supply chain management. Without real-time tracking, businesses would have to rely on trust and patience, waiting for shipments to arrive without any updates. So, no e-commerce or digital marketing. Brick-and-mortar stores and traditional advertising would dominate the business landscape. It's a world that seems almost alien to us now, but it's how business was done for centuries. And while the internet has undeniably brought about convenience and efficiency, there's something to be said for the tangible and personal aspects of a world without it. Imagine studying without the internet. Sounds challenging, doesn't it? In a world without the World Wide Web, our learning experience would look vastly different. Gone would be the days of instant Google searches, online courses, and digital libraries. Instead, we'd be transported back to an era where textbooks, physical libraries, and traditional classrooms were the primary sources of knowledge. Picture this: you're a student working on a history project. Without the internet, you can't just type in your query and have thousands of resources at your fingertips. Instead, you'd have to sift through piles and piles of books at the library, scanning pages and cross-referencing information. It might even involve visiting multiple libraries or archives to find everything you need. The process would be time-consuming and laborious, but it's how research was conducted for centuries. Collaboration too would take on a different form. Remember those group projects where you and your classmates used online platforms to work together, share ideas, and divide tasks? Without the internet, you'd have to coordinate schedules to meet in person, exchange handwritten notes, and communicate through phone calls or letters. And let's not forget about distance education. Today, you can earn a degree from a university halfway across the globe without ever leaving your home. But without the internet, this would be impossible. Education would be restricted by geographical limitations, and the exchange of knowledge would be slower, more localized. Despite these challenges, it's important to remember that education survived and thrived long before the advent of the internet. Teachers would likely become even more integral, serving as the main source of information and guidance. Libraries would regain their status as the hub of knowledge, and the value of printed books would be undeniable. So, no online courses or ebooks. Traditional classrooms and libraries would be the main sources of knowledge. It's a sobering thought, isn't it? Yet it's a reminder of how crucial the internet has become in our quest for learning and the dissemination of information. Without the internet, life would certainly be different, wouldn't it? We've journeyed together through a world that could have been. A world without emails zipping across continents in seconds, without streaming your favorite blockbuster at the click of a button, without the ease of online shopping, and without the vast ocean of the knowledge at our fingertips. It's a fascinating exercise, isn't it? Imagining a world so different from ours, but at the same time, not too distant in the past. It makes us appreciate the marvel of the internet, doesn't it? Now, what do you think? How different would your life be without the internet? How would you navigate your day-to-day activities, your work, your studies, your leisure? We're eager to hear your thoughts. So feel free to share your insights and stories in the comments below. And if you've enjoyed this journey through an alternate reality with us, why not join our community? Hit the subscribe button to make sure you don't miss out on our next adventure. If you liked this video, give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends. Let's inspire more people to appreciate the wonders of our world and the extraordinary possibilities that lie within the realms of what if. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and stay tuned for more thought-provoking content on our channel.